All right, welcome into another edition of That's Deep. I just want to get this off before we start here. We are moving to Wednesdays. We did a Wednesday show last week, and we're going to continue to do Wednesday shows through the NFL season. Obviously, from here on out, we're going to have either preseason or regular season football on Thursday nights. So 8:30 will be the time. It's 9 o'clock now for us. But yeah, going forward, 8:30 Wednesday nights will be our show. Johnny, we dominated the weekend last week. It was nice to get a bounce back from the previous week. Probably one of our best shows, best weeks we've had. Not such a great card coming into this one, but as always, there's money to be made. So, how you doing tonight? How you feeling? What are you thinking about this card?
Doing well. Coming off a great card last week. I think I had like maybe two misses. The Dern fight could have gone either way in that third round, and Shara not getting a KO in 2 or 3 was kind of hurtful. But yeah, good card overall. And now we got to deal with this crap card coming in between pay-per-view next week. So.
Yeah, definitely not a great card. We've only got 10 fights, so this will probably be a pretty quick show here. There are a couple spots that I do like. I think we will have a chance to make money on this one for sure. But we can jump right into it. Our first fight of the night is a women's fight, and let's see. Make sure I got it here. There we go. We've got a strawweight bout between Stephanie Luciano taking on Talita Alencar. This is a fight that we saw on the Contender Series last season. Pretty competitive fight. Ended up in a draw. Luciano landed a lot of damage. Got a 10-8 in that final round. Alencar had the grappling early in the fight. What are your thoughts coming into this one?
Yeah, this is an interesting one that they rebooked this right away. Yeah, the first fight, like you said, was pretty much Alencar first 2 rounds just dominating and grappling, and then round 3 just completely had nothing in the tank, was just shooting like blank takedowns, couldn't do nothing. Luciano pretty much just pieced her up, pummeled her, got a 10-8. Yeah, this is a striker versus grappler matchup. It's this is the first time we've seen Luciano coming in off of the Contender Series, so she took a little bit of time off. I don't know if she was working on her takedown defense. Maybe she knew that this would be her first fight coming in. We've seen Alencar. She looked decent in her first fight. Yeah, I don't know. This is kind of a tough one because if it's on the feet, it's Luciano all day. Like, she's going to pick her apart. But I think Alencar is probably going to be able. I think it's probably going to be similar to the first fight. It's going to be Alencar getting the takedowns, and if Luciano can maybe get returns to her feet and land damage, maybe she steals around. We've seen judges score damage over the grappling and control time. So I don't know. It's interesting. Alencar was a big favorite in their first fight. She was like minus 275, I think she closed, and now Luciano's a minus 167 favorite. Man, this is kind of a tough one for me. I mean, I really don't see what is gonna be different from the first fight. So I think Alencar is probably going to get takedowns early, and if she can hold on, I think she could probably scrape it here. I'm going to take a shot with the dog here, and hopefully she can get her grappling going and doesn't gas out, and she's worked on her cardio.
Yeah, I'm pretty much in the same boat with you in terms of not really. I mean, it's tough to really tell how this is going to play out. The only thing I will say, I am siding with Luciano in this one, just because I think if she does stuff some takedowns earlier, doesn't like the second round of that fight, she gave up her back, which was a real problem. She couldn't really get out of that position for a while. But when it is on the feet, I do think she's got a massive advantage. So I'm going to side with her just because I do think she'll have a little bit better success defending the takedowns, number one, and maybe scrambling a little bit better. I feel like she knows exactly what she has to do to win this fight, and obviously it's keep it on the feet or scramble as much as she can when she does get taken down. So we are in Vegas. The Vegas judges do tend to side more with damage, kind of the way the judging is supposed to be graded. But you never know. The judges they're all over the place anywhere you go. But I do think in Vegas they will side a little bit more with the damage. That's where I'm leaning. Not super confident. I hate that I would much prefer if she was the dog in this spot, but I do think the damage will be enough. So it's going to be close. I think obviously this probably be a good live spot. So I think if anything, that's kind of the way I'm going to approach it.
Yeah, you could probably get, plus money on both sides. I expect Alan Carr to have grappling success early. And that, you probably get plus money on both sides at some point in this fight. We've seen that a lot last week.
Yeah. Last week they were very generous with that.
And I don't mind the Luciano KO at like plus 425 as a sprinkle. I don't mind that, but I think dog pick here. Not confident.
Yeah, I don't blame you. It's a close fight, and we already saw it go to a draw once. So picking the dog here is not a bad thought. All right, our next fight is in the what division? We got the featherweight bout between Yousef Zal and Jno Erens. Zalal came back to the UFC recently, and he looks like he's got it all figured out. He always had a lot of potential. He had a couple down fights in the UFC before going to another promotion, but it looks like he's kind of put it all together. Taking on Jno Erens. Erens, he's a wild man in there. He throws heavy. He's tough. He's gritty. Zalal, pretty decent sized favorite here. What are your thoughts on this one?
Yeah, Zalal, pretty well rounded. He came back in his fight against Billy Q, and he impressed me. He pretty much just dominated, submitted him, and just he looked really good. And Erens he's a decent guy. On the feet, he surprised me in his last fight. He was. He pretty much pieced up. Oh boy, what's his name? Forgot his name. But yeah, he pretty much blanked on it. Yeah, he was a dog there, and he's pretty much pieced him up and beat him up the whole fight. I don't know. I just think Zalal is good everywhere. I think he could take it wherever he wants to go. If he keeps it on the feet, I think he can win. And if he gets takedowns, I think he can definitely get control time and maybe get a sub here. Big favorite here is Zalal, so it's not a crazy pick here. But yeah, I think it's Zalal, and probably Zalal by decision. I think Erens is tough enough to survive here, anything, and he's gritty enough, and I think he can. I think Zalal could probably win a decision. Erens is pretty hard to put away.
Yeah, that's the part of the fight that is kind of interesting to me because I do like Zalal here a lot. I think he's just a better fighter everywhere. His striking's good, his grappling's good. He's got very slick trips that we saw in that last fight, and Erens comes in kind of out of control a lot. So you might see him get a few throws or trips or just kind of crazy looking takedowns, which should score well in the judge's eyes. I do think he could put him away just because Erens is kind of wild and he could get himself into some bad spots. Zalal does have good submissions. So, inside the distance, I think is live. But overall, I think Zalal as a parlay piece, money line. That's the way to go.
Hard to get to anything with that now at -4.
Yeah, actually, you're right because it's moved quite a bit since the beginning.
Over 2.5 is is juiced at -230, so the books think this is going the whole way.
Yeah.
So I don't know. Yeah.
Yeah, it is tough because the line has moved quite a bit since, as you know, I like to get those baseball bets in. So I got him in a few baseball parlays. But yeah, I mean, I do think it goes probably deeper into the fight. I think Zalal could find a finish, but there's a good chance we get all three in this one. So Zalal by decision, solid. But yeah, I think Zalal's the side here. I think he gets it done.
And Zalal and over 1.5 is probably going to be juice crazy, like
That's probably, yeah,
-250.
you're not going to probably save too
You're
much
not
there.
going to. So yeah. So it's probably Zalal. You got to pick either Zalal inside the distance or by decision.
Yeah.
So yeah.
All right. Our next fight is in the heavyweight division. We have Jahanta Deniz taking on Carl Williams.
Oh yeah.
Carl Williams, he likes to grapple. That's going to be his path here. Deniz comes from a kickboxing background. We lost Johnny here. All right. Well, Deniz comes from a kickboxing background. I honestly, oh, he's coming back. Here we go.
Froze up.
All right, cool. You're back anyway.
Yeah.
So yeah, like I was saying, Williams grappler, Deniz kickboxer. I'm not overly impressed. I mean, Deniz does have some pretty good power. I think he will be a problem if he stuffs a few takedowns. But if Williams gets the takedowns going, it could be pretty one-way traffic. What are your thoughts on this one?
Yeah, this is an interesting one. Carl Williams, he's going to come with that. He's relentless. He's that American wrestler, relentless pressure, going to try to take you down. And pretty much just, I mean, he hasn't shown really much when he's gotten on top, which is kind of concerning. I mean, it's pretty much just like get on top and land little pop shots, and hasn't really finished anybody, which is like interesting. And Denise, I mean, he's got game-changing power in his hands, and like anytime this fight is on the feet, I think he's definitely live to catch him. Tafa hurt him a couple of times in their fight. I think I had like a Tafa round 3 KO, and then round 3, I mean, he kind of had Williams on skates, but then he was able to just grab him and take him down and survive. I'm gonna lean at Williams gets him down and just grinds him down. I mean, Denise hasn't been. He's only been out of the first round once, and that was against Austin Lane, where Austin Lane controlled him for like 4 minutes in the first round, and Austin Lane sucks. So I don't think Williams will have a problem here taking him down. Is whether, I mean, it's kind of later in the fights, he kind of does look kind of tired, is my concern with Williams. In that third round, when he's been grappling for 2 rounds, he looks kind of tired, but we haven't seen Denise in the later part of the fight. So yeah, I think it's Carl Williams, I think, just to be able to get the grappling going, and I don't know, maybe he can get a finish here. I mean, Denise is just, I don't know, on the ground, he doesn't look like he has much. So if you put him down there, it's pretty much going to stay there. So yeah, I think it's probably Williams in over 1.5, maybe Williams decision.
Yeah,
I just don't think he has a lot of finishing equity. I don't know. I think.
Yeah. I mean, he hasn't shown it to this point, which is kind of disappointing. But yeah, I think he's the side here too. Again, this is one I'm going to want to look at live, because if he does get some takedowns, or if he does get the takedown early, doesn't do anything with it, I do think there's potential that even in the second round, he's live to get clipped. So that does worry me a little bit, but it's just low level heavyweight, and I just got to side with the grappling, at least until I see otherwise. I did hear I don't know if he did or not, but I know he was talking about training at AKA with DC and the boys. So there's potential that he went to a solid wrestling camp and got his game a little bit better. Um, but yeah, I mean, overall, if he lands the takedowns, I think he wins. If he doesn't, if he's getting stuffed, I mean, that Chase Sherman fight was not impressive. I was on him on that fight, and Sherman gave him quite a problem, and he stuffed a bunch of his takedowns. So don't
Yeah,
love to
the
see
interesting
that.
thing was like he couldn't really get Sherman down to the ground, but I mean on the feet he kind of held his own. But
Yeah,
he's
yeah.
not going to want to be on the he's not going to want to be on the feet here. I don't think. Yeah, definitely
No,
not.
I don't
But
think so either. I think the power will be a real problem if he has to stay on the feet. But yeah, I'm going to side with the wrestling here, and we'll go from there. I'll look at it live, see if there's anything, but yeah, I'll side with Williams and the wrestling. All right, our next fight is a women's bantamweight fight. We have Carl Hosa taking on Penny Kianzad. Two pretty similar fighters, both good boxing, good striking. Hosa in the past has wrestled a decent amount. She hasn't done that as much lately. Kianzad pretty much going to want to keep this thing standing. What are your thoughts on this one?
yeah, I think this is pretty much this is going to be a striking battle here. And I don't know. Women's MMA. I don't know. The split's always live. I could see it being close here on the feet, kind of being tit for tat. One of these 1-1 going into the third. But I don't know. I think I like Rosa. I like Rosa. I like her striking. I like her game plan. The Aldana fight. It was. I mean, she did well in that fight. Landed a lot of leg kicks. Beat the leg up.
Yeah.
Um, yeah, I think this is probably Hosa by decision. Um, yeah, I can't back Penny. I can't back Penny right now. Yeah, it's got to be Hosa or pass for me. Not much here.
Yeah, I'm on Hosa as well. She looked amazing in that last fight. She did end up taking a decent amount of damage late, but yeah, she landed a lot of leg kicks, a lot of I mean, she landed over 200 strikes, which is really
Yep.
what you're looking for in somebody who's going to go to a decision, land a ridiculous amount of strikes. She looks sharp, and I do think if she mixes in her takedowns, which we haven't seen a lot of lately, but even just late in rounds, she can get Kianza down, and we've seen Penny get subbed here a couple times recently. She's vulnerable on the ground, so that could be another path just to kind of at least steal rounds, make it look good in the judges' eyes. So yeah, I like Hosa here. I think I do worry a little bit about the damage that she took in that last fight, but she kept coming forward. She never backed down. She never really got hurt. She got beat up a little bit, but really just a great fight. It was a great fight in general. So I think if she comes in and fights the same way as she fought in that one, um, she's more than live to get this one done. So I like Hosa here, and I'm fairly confident. I think she gets it done.
Yep.
All right, our next fight is in the bantamweight division. We have Toshiami Kazama taking on Haralopoulos Gregorio. We saw Gregorio make his debut a few months back. Solid start. He did fade a little bit in that fight. He got his wrestling going, but we're going to need to see a little bit better cardio out of him. Taking on Kazama, who has been knocked out in 3 of the last 4. I'm not overly impressed with him. He's coming from the Road to UFC series. He's been knocked down in 3. He's been knocked down 3 times in the last 2 fights, which I never like. But what are your thoughts on this one?
Yeah, this is an interesting one for me. Gregorio, I guess he's got some decent striking, some decent pop in his hands. He's okay, but I mean, like you said, his cardio is not very good. Yeah, I don't think he's that good, but I just think he's a little bit better than Kazama. We've seen Kazama just not really have anything. Like, it's pretty much just if he gets hit one solid time, it's like he gets hurt. And if he doesn't get the grappling going here, I think he's going to have a real issue. I mean, I think his path to victory here would be to kind of get the takedowns and get the grappling going here, and kind of wear on Gregorio here and kind of tire him out. But even then, I think one and done. This could be like one good shot, and Kazama could be done here. I'm going to be looking at a Gregorio probably KO 1 or 2. Gregorio KO. Yeah, I'm not a fan of Kazama. I don't think he's very good. I don't think he's UFC level. I don't think he's going to be around much longer. I think this is a good spot for Gregorio to get his win in the UFC and get a knockout here.
Yeah, I'm right there with you. Kazama just really hasn't shown anything. And like I said, getting knocked out in 3 of the last 4 fights, I don't care who you're fighting. If you're just getting starched, it just doesn't matter. Yeah, I think Gregorio more than live for the KO. And, he does train with some good guys, trains with Marab, trains with Aljo. So you would expect after a UFC debut where he did kind of fade, his cardio is probably going to look a little bit better coming into this one. I'm not sure he's going to need it, though. Like you said, if a couple good shots early, that could be all it is. So, yeah, I like Gregorio here inside the distance, KO. I think he gets it done. Just not a Kazama fan at all.
Yeah.
All right, our next fight.
We're pretty synced up here early.
Yeah, it's good. I'm just gonna continue on from last week.
Yeah.
Next fight is in the women's bantamweight division. We have Janis Santos taking on Chelsea Chandler. Santos on a bit of a skid. She's lost some tough ones recently. Close decisions. I thought she could have got that decision over Carol Hosa, which, we're both pretty high on this card. Taking on Chelsea Chandler, who is yet to make bantamweight in the UFC. She fought at featherweight 2 fights ago, and then missed weight fighting at bantamweight in her last fight. So it'll be interesting to see her on the scales. What are your thoughts? What are your thoughts on this one?
Yeah, Chandler, pretty big girl here. Not too much to desire in the striking department. I mean, I guess if she can get her grappling going, she can get on top and probably use her size advantage here and maybe hold Santos down. But yeah, we all know Chandler as that meme from the Norma Dumont fight where she's running away.
Yeah.
So yeah, I mean, I don't know. This is low-level women's MMA. Anything could happen here. But yeah, I think Santos is better everywhere, more well-rounded. I think she's definitely the better striker. If this is on the feed, I think it's probably Santos all day. I see money's coming in on Chandler. I don't really understand it. But yeah, I think Santos probably just going to be able to keep this at range and just pick her apart and win a decision. But yeah, I'm not very high on this fight. But yeah, probably Santos.
Yeah, I'm right there with you. I did think about taking the dog shot here with Chandler, but she just, when they're striking, she just does not look good when she's getting hit. It's just, from a judge's perspective, it's just a bad look. She gets hit, she kind of shies away. She's tough. She's not afraid to get hit. And she's willing to go forward, but it just does not look good. Just striking is just a little bit sloppy. She does, when she comes forward and lands, she's got a decent amount of power. Like you said, she's got good size, so she could get the grappling going. But honestly, 50-50 grappling exchange, Santos could win it too. I mean, Santos' takedown defense is not very good. It's like 40-something%.
Yeah.
And I think Chandler sits at like 39%. So she's been taken down and held down in fights. So kind of, it can go either way. One of them gets the grappling going. That could be the fight. But I just think Santos is cleaner. She's a cleaner striker. I think overall just a better fighter. I think she's fought the better competition. And I think Santos is the side. Not a bad spot to take a chance on the dog, but I'm going to roll with Santos in this one.
Yeah, with money coming in on Chandler and that Santos line dropping, it makes it more appealing than it did earlier in the week at the minus like 170-ish range. She's down to like minus 140, which is, not too bad. I could see a split here. I could see a split here as well. Just nothing like this is just not really anything.
Yeah, I mean, honestly, Santos and over, you'd probably have to go over 2.5. You might maybe just have to go decision, but you'd probably get a better price there. I mean, I think it's probably going all 3 rounds. So if you can get Santos by decision down to, close to even money, that's probably the way to go. But yeah, I think Santos gets it done.
Yeah, Santos by points minus 106.
Yeah, so that's not too bad. And I mean, I think a decision is pretty likely.
Yeah, I don't see nobody getting a finish here.
Yeah. All right, we'll move on to a bit more of a lopsided fight. Late booking. I can't even get this fight to expand. But we've got Chris Gutierrez taking on Kang Lee. Lee showing some decent power, solid overall fighter. He's making his debut, short notice here. Taking on Chris Gutierrez, who was training for a fight with Basharat, who's, obviously higher up in the division. Gutierrez, one of the better guys at bantamweight. Very big favorite here. He's like minus 530, I think it was. The odds on the screen are completely wrong. What are your thoughts on this one?
Yeah, I think this is pretty much one-way traffic here. I watched some Kang Lee, and I don't know. He's kind of just, he's going to go out there and pretty much he's going to go out there balls to the wall early and just try to go for it. He said in his pre-fight presser that he's gonna come out here and he's gonna try to finish him in round 1. So I expect him coming in on short notice, pretty much to unload the tank in however many minutes he has here. I don't see him having too much success here. I think Gutierrez, I like his leg kicks. I like the striking. I think he's a decent fighter. He's good all around. I think this is pretty cut and dry and simple for me. This is Gutierrez KO. Just nothing much here. Kang Lee, just the tape I've seen, just not really too impressed. And this is Gutierrez for me.
Yeah, I think Gutierrez is levels above. And I will probably be betting the KO. I don't really think there's any other way to do it. I think, if you want to throw Gutierrez in a parlay, but you're really not getting much out of that either. The odds are so big, and it's probably only going to get worse, honestly. So,
wow.
Yeah. What's that?
Over 2.5 is minus 205.
It's kind of surprising.
Yeah.
But I could see it. I mean, Gutierrez does go to a good amount of decisions.
Yeah, but I think fighting lower level guy like
this is his levels here, and that's tough. I think he probably finds a finish.
Yeah, it's hard to come in here on short notice on a guy like this,
Yeah, he's just too sharp.
Yeah.
Heavy leg kicks, great striking, high fight IQ. Gutierrez is a really good fighter. So yeah, I will be betting the KO, and I guess I'll be betting the unders if I can get good price like that.
Plus 155 on under 2.5.
Yeah, that alone is worth a bet.
Yeah. Because you even think if Quang Lee, if he wins, he catches them early.
Yeah,
You
you
know
would
what I
think
mean?
so. Yeah. I
So you
find it hard
got,
to believe, yeah, he'd win on decision.
yeah.
All right, our next fight is another short notice fight. We have Danny Barlo take on Nikolai. Can I say this last name? Vertenikov. I think that's how it's said. Vertenikov coming in. The guys look really good. His last loss was to Michael Morales on the Contender Series. That was a 3-round decision. He started his career 1-3. Since then, he's gone 11-1. So the guy seems like a pretty good fighter. Taking on Danny Barlo, who he's got a lot of power, dangerous, tall, rangy, good jab. Barlo, pretty solid favorite here. What are your thoughts on this one?
Yeah, I'm a big Danny Barlow guy, left-handed god. He's made me some money in his Contender Series fight and his last fight when he beat the shit out of Quinlan.
Yeah.
Yeah, I like this kid. His striking is sharp. I mean, if he connects with that left hand, it's gonna be night night. But yeah, I think this line is maybe a little bit too big here. I think Veritnikov, Vertenikov, or however you say his name is. I mean, he looks pretty good. I mean, he looks like a pretty good, well-rounded fighter. I mean, he looks decent on the feet, and he's got some grappling in his back pocket. I mean, the concern would be here is if he starts grappling Barlow, and that would be Barlow's one weak spot would be the grappling. Um,
Mm,
so I don't know if this is on the feet. I think it could be pretty close, but I think eventually Barlow finds that left hand and puts him out. But I mean, I think the line is just a little wide. I mean, I like Barlow, but this line is kind of big. Probably it's gonna be. I'm gonna take Barlow by KO probably. And yeah, but I don't like this line.
yeah, I think if you're betting Barlow, probably KO would be the way to go. I don't like the line either. Nikolai he looks really good. I mean, he's well rounded. He's a bit stiff in the striking. I mean, I do think Barlow could get the striking going and kind of piece him up a little bit. But Nikolai's tough. He does have some power himself. He can take some damage for sure. I mean, he hasn't lost by finish since 2014. The guy, he's turned his career around. He looks like the real deal. Trains at a good gym. The thing about this fight here is he can get the grappling going, and that's probably the path he's going to want to take. But he is taking this fight on short notice, so
We don't know
I
his
don't know what
gas
his
tank
cardio
is
is
it
going
going
to
to
look.
be.
Yeah, I don't know
Yeah,
what his
yeah,
cardio is going to look like late. I think that might be why the line is the way it is, because I could easily see him having success early, landing some takedowns, close on the feet, competitive fight, but then just kind of fading. And
fading
then,
later in the fight, and Barlow
yeah,
just clipping him and putting him away late. Yeah,
yeah. So,
maybe a round 2 or 3 KO for Barlow. That would be interesting
yeah,
on that
I
weak
think that's
number.
interesting for sure. Yeah, because I think Nikolai's is good. I think he's gonna be competitive, but the cardio is where I just feel like that could make the difference. And if your cardio fails in front of a guy that has that kind of power, and we saw, I mean, his power translates to the third round. That was a late finish in that last fight. Um, and he
Yep.
had everything he needed to put what's his name, Quinlan away. So yeah, I
And
think
boy,
Barlow,
that left hand is just something vicious,
yeah,
man.
yeah, he's sharp. So
Yeah.
I think Barlow late, round 2, round 3 KO is very live. Maybe even a live spot if he does get taken down early.
Maybe he
Could get
drops
a
the
better
first
number.
round, and you can,
Yeah.
and like we've seen last week, these odds just swing crazy. So maybe he gets a takedown early, and you can get him at a pick 'em after round
Yeah.
one.
Yeah.
That would be interesting to me.
So yeah, that's definitely a way to look at it. But yeah, I think all things considered, I think Barlo is going to have to be the side. And if I'm picking a means of finish, it's probably, second or third round KO. All right, our next fight this should be a fun one. It's in the featherweight division. We have Damon Jackson taking on Shep Mariscal. Mariscal is just kind of a dog in there. He throws heavy, pretty well rounded. He's going to be at a bit of a size disadvantage here. Jackson, pretty big guy, 5'11" to 5'7". Jackson, very good grappling. Both guys have been clipped in the past. Both guys have been finished on a few occasions. So this is a fun one. What are your thoughts on this one?
Yeah, this is an interesting one. I think someone's probably definitely getting finished here. Jackson, I have real questions about his durability and how he can take a punch and his cardio if the fight gets later into the fight. Like you said, he's got good grappling. He could, maybe get his back in round one and maybe he could sub him. I don't know. I could see him subbing Chepe maybe.
Yeah,
But if this is on the feet, I just see Chepe just. I've envisioned it where Chepe just catches him in round two and just like highlight reel KOs him. I have real problems with this Jackson's cardio later into the fight, and the pace and pressure that Chepe puts on I think it's going to be too much. But Chepe is going to need to keep this on the feet. But I think if Jackson is grappling for long periods of time, that definitely the cardio is definitely a question mark. So,
yeah,
yeah, I'm gonna pick Chepe here and Chepe by knockout. Yeah, I could see him putting. I have real questions about Damon Jackson's chin and durability. That is real concern for me.
yeah.
And Chepe's looked good since he's came to the UFC. He's been a dog.
Yeah,
He's looked good.
yeah. I have the same concerns with Jackson. I do think he's live here. Um, I'm gonna take Jackson right now. Take the dog shot, but I will be looking at the live lines because, like you said, later on in the fight, I think Mariscal definitely could have an advantage with the cardio, and he's kind of a junkyard dog. So even if he is losing the fight, he can find something late, clip him with something, and both guys, like I said, have been knocked out. Jackson's been knocked out by some pretty heavy hitters in the UFC. Taporia, Dan Ige. So not the worst thing, but we did see him get rocked in that last fight against Hernandez, which pretty much ended up going to split decision because of it. So yeah, there's definite question marks. I'm gonna take the shot on him as a dog here, but yeah, I'll be looking at the live line. I think Shepe could find something late in this one. All right, so that's going to bring us to our main event. This is the second time we've seen this fight. Heavyweight battle. Marcin Tybura taking on Sergey Spivac. They fought back, I believe it was 2020, kind of COVID times. Pretty competitive fight. They're both kind of on the same trajectory, kind of winning most of the fights, losing to Aspinall, losing to the top guys, but kind of right in that mix in the top of the heavyweight division. What are your thoughts on this one?
Yeah, interesting heavyweight slot fest rematch that I really nobody asked for. um, yeah, I guess Spivak's made some progressions from the first since they for first fought. I think it might have been Spivak's debut or one of his earlier fights in the
It was
UFC.
like, yeah, second fight in the UFC, I believe.
Yeah. So yeah, he has made some improvements in his game, and Tybura is just pretty much the same guy. I mean, he hasn't really gotten any better. He hasn't really done nothing to improve his game. Kind of just a middling of the road heavyweights. Beats all the cans, loses to the top flight guys. Kind of these guys are pretty much, this is a mirror match pretty much to me. Yeah, I don't see what's going to be too much different from the first fight. I'm going to go the dog here. I'm going to say Tybura is able to. Yeah, I think Tybura is the better striker, and I think he can get some takedowns and get some talk time. Yeah, but I mean, this is nothing really too exciting. I'm going to pick the dog here, and hopefully that he just has his number, and it's just a close heavyweights. It's a heavyweight slot fest. Give me the plus money. Tybura's already beaten him, so yeah, this is dog or pass for me. Maybe a live opportunity. Maybe another one where we can get plus money on both sides. Yeah, not too excited about this main event.
Yeah, I don't really have a ton of conviction coming in because, like you said, I mean, calling it a mirror match is pretty much the best way to describe this one. I mean, I think of late, Spivac's wrestling has been better, and that would kind of have me leaning towards him. But 5-round fight here, taking the dog makes sense to me. So I don't have a bet on this fight yet. I don't know what I want to do here. I guess for the purpose of the show, I'm going to say Spivac is my pick. But yeah, like I said, I don't have a ton of confidence. Definitely, I think either guy you're betting, you're going to want to bet with the over probably 2.5. I think it probably goes all 5. I don't see either one of these guys getting finished. So if you can get the number down that way. But yeah, I guess I'm leaning Spivac. Not a ton of conviction. Just blindly taking the dog here doesn't sound like a bad idea either. It's just such a close fight, so I totally understand it.
Yeah, I could see this going almost either way, but
Yeah,
I'm just off watching the first fight. I mean, I know Spivac, he has made improvements, but I mean, I just think Tybura
is good. He's big. He's strong.
He's a big dude. He's got, it's heavyweight slot fest. Yeah. So I don't mind the over 3.5 minus 110. I mean, I definitely see it going longer.
Yeah. That's a great.
Yeah.
I mean, that's worth betting on its own. I wouldn't mind putting that in a parlay. So
yeah. It's minus 110, so you can bet that by itself. So
right. Yeah, exactly. So yeah, I mean, yeah, not a lot of conviction on the main event. We are technically on opposite ends, but like I said, I just confidence-wise, it is what it is. We'll see what the night brings, but yeah, we'll watch weigh-ins. We'll see if anything changes there. I'll be interested to see if Chelsea Chandler makes weight. Not a ton of concern with the rest of them making weight, but we'll see what happens. Hopefully, we don't lose a fight along the way. We're already down to 10, so hopefully we at least get all 10. But yeah, that's it. I believe this week we've got NASCAR back, so you guys are going to want to tune in for the NASCAR shows. NASCAR podcast Friday night. I believe they go on at 9. And yeah, we're back to business. We've got UFC preseason tomorrow. And that's
NFL
it. So,
preseason.
What'd I say?
UFC preseason.
Oh, did I?
Yeah.
We got it.
We got Contender Series. We got Contender Series back next Tuesday, so I'll be able to start diving into that part.
Yeah.
So
I'm wondering if I'll get lines on that. I haven't been able to bet in the legal market here yet, so hopefully they give
that's
us.
Interesting. They got I mean, you got Jersey gets the live lines and all that.
Yeah, no, I have not seen live lines. I haven't seen lines for it here in New York, so we'll see. Maybe I'll get him this year, hopefully. But yeah, we got a lot going on. NFL preseason tomorrow, and then business as usual Saturday, Sunday.
Website is firing up, so go sign up for that website. Get in there. It's going to be. I mean, you're going to want that website for NFL. It's going to have everything you need. Yeah, it's going to be great stuff. Great content on there. Yeah, go if you like money, sign up for the website.
Yeah, absolutely. Great value. It's going to be $50 a month. I mean, it's for what you're getting. It's a deal and a half. So, yeah, definitely sign up for that. Join the Discord. Discord's always firing. We got guys betting the Olympics. We got everything going on, and a lot of sharp guys. So, yeah, sign up, get in there. But that's going to do it. Until next time, we will see you this weekend, and good luck on Saturday.
See ya.